ever start a game and realise that you have absolutely no idea on what you're supposed to be doing? Hello, I'm Emily, and here's a selection of PS1 games that really needed a tutorial. First up, we have third-person platforming shooter Blasto, where you play a dim-witted captain voiced by Phil Hartman, best known for his voice work on The Simpsons.
It's awfully small.
I'd say it's awfully cozy.
That's dilapidated.
Rustic.
That house is on fire.
Motivated seller.
Valentine recalls, even the first levels were challenging. The platforming was so difficult. The slow movements and dodgy camera made me fall to my death time and time again. Praise, though, for the voice acting work of the late, great Phil Hartman.
Can you do it, Blasto?
Is a frog's butt watertight?
I knew we could count on you, Blasto.
Normally, platform games will ease players in gradually, but not Blasto. Here, you need to be a whiz with the game's control scheme just to make it past the first level.
Ow.
Keith is still scarred by his time playing King's Field. The game starts with text telling you that a dragon will soon be awakened, but the time has not yet come and all is quiet. Then you start playing and you walk around corridors aimlessly, all filled with walking plants and skeletons. I still have absolutely no idea what I was meant to be doing. So you actually play as a royal heir in search of his missing father. But granted, it is a little strange that the opening text doesn't tell you this quite important objective. We'd have loved a tutorial for the Lost World Jurassic Park. Perhaps, then we may have learned if it was possible to win a fight without taking any damage ourselves. John remembers. I doubt anyone who started the Lost World made it to the end of the first level without dying. My friend showed me recently that you could eat carcasses by pressing L2 or R2 to recover health. Even though I hadn't played the game in years, I actually got quite mad because that would have really helped. And now you've probably just enraged many of our viewers. Thanks, John. And the award for the game with the most inappropriate attire goes to our next entry, Death Trap Dungeon. A title that really throws you into the deep end, and to be fair, lives up to its name. Death Trap Dungeon. It would take hours as a kid to just get past the first couple of rooms. Lots of you agreed with Mike, such as David here. Terrible platforming, terrible combat, but I still somehow enjoyed that game. You got your money's worth, at least in terms of longevity. Game took forever to finish. If you didn't have the controls down to a T within minutes, then quite frankly, you were completely f***ed.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would...
Next up, we have Myst. Here, players assume the role of an unknown person who places their hand on a book and is teleported to a new world. Tamsin remembers spending hours walking around that goddamn island going, "What the f*** does this do?" over and over. And Rob replied, "To this day, I haven't a clue what was happening." To be fair, guys, we don't know how useful a tutorial would have been. Perhaps a few simple messages would have sufficed instead. You will get lost, you will get frustrated, you will need to spend hours drawing a map of the island and writing down every single thing that you see and do. Yeah, I think that would work. Lots of you, such as Lauren here, were baffled by Little Big Adventure. I bought it secondhand and there was no manual included. I was young when I played it and gave up very quickly. Jake remembers. I remember the game started with an overwhelming amount of text that I now know off by heart. I'd see it time and time again as I kept restarting the game and failing to progress past the first level.
A prisoner has escaped. Sound the alarm.
And finally, by far the most popular suggestion was Digimon World. Rodrigo says, "F***ing Digimon World. The Digimons just die without any reason. Years later, I learned that this is normal and we cannot do anything about it." Risha remembers, "It was so easy to mess up and you have no idea what you did wrong." Simon too was frustrated. Gives you a basic storyline to follow, then throws you in at the deep end. Unless you actively go and talk to all NPCs, you could spend hours going nowhere. And Kuba here sums it up perfectly. Looking at it from an adult's perspective, Digimon World was absolutely brutal with its mechanics, never explaining how anything really works. All these complaints aside, lots of you still went on to say that the game was phenomenal. Just, a tutorial explaining the game's complex mechanics would have been nice. But here's a reminder that sometimes a tutorial isn't always a good thing. What games do you remember that could have done with a tutorial? Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for watching.
For more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to make sure you don't miss any videos in the future. Cheers!